Hey sewing friends, so I thought I'd give you an update on my module, my 8-piece module, because I told you I wanted to start with these McCall's trousers. They are McCall's 8148, and I will link the pattern in the description below. So I started making a wearable toile, or excuse me, not a wearable toile. I made a toile, and I put them on, and I wanted to start assessing the fit. And then I kind of realized that although I could identify what didn't fit, I really didn't know, or what wasn't working, I wasn't really sure. I didn't really know how to necessarily fix them. So I thought, okay, I need to dial it back, Carol. Just slow down and do things the right way, basically. So I went and referred to this book I've had for a while in my stash. It's called The Complete Photo Guide to Perfect Fitting. And I had bought this several years ago and I started reading it. But again, you know, I'm just notorious for just trying to pick out what I need and then putting it away. And I never really took the time to read it and to really, I guess, study it and to learn what was in there. But I'm really working on these 8 pieces because I want to make them just, you know, impeccable. And when I go to buy fabric, I want to buy nice fabric. And this is going to just kind of be, you know, my little project here. So I went ahead and started reading it again. And I realized that I needed to start all over. So I went ahead and, you know, traced out the pattern again, put together a toile. And on my toile, here it is, I put what's called the horizontal balance line, the HBL. And I've heard a little bit about this on YouTube before, and it might be something you're familiar with. But if not, I thought this might be some useful information to share with others because I'm really finding it helpful and really useful as well. So what the horizontal balance line is just that. It's a horizontal line, usually around the hip line if you're doing skirts or pants, and you want it horizontal to the floor and perpendicular to the grain line. So, you know, and on the pattern piece, you'll often find that sort of, what's it called? The crosshairs. You'll find a circle with the crosshairs on it, and it's oftentimes at the waist, and it's also at the hip line. So I went ahead and drew that on my pattern piece. Let me show you the pattern piece here. Okay, this is my back, and this is the grain line. Okay, right here. I don't know how it's showing up, but this here is the grain line. This is on the pattern. It was the crotch line, so you want that at the crotch. And then this is the lengthen and shorten line, but I made that my horizontal balance line because that's about where my hip is. So it's on my pattern piece, and I transferred it to my muslin as well. So for instance, here is the back of my muslin, and you can see that there is 2 lines drawn there. I don't know how well it's showing up, but one is I think the crotch line that I drew, and the other is my horizontal balance line, along with the grain line. And then in the front here, there's the waist. So I went ahead and drew in the waistline as well as the hip line in the front. See my horizontal balance line. And so I went ahead and was reading and wanted to adjust the fit. So I'm going to show you some pictures of what I did, and what my goal is you know, I'm kind of starting out slow. So there are a myriad of fit issues with this, but I'm only addressing the horizontal balance line in the front and the back today. I'll slowly work towards all the other issues. So you feel free to comment what you see, you know, in the comments, but be aware that yes, I'm aware of all the fit issues that are going on, but I'm just tackling them one bit at a time. Excuse me. So anyhow, Sarah Veblen is Veblen, Veblen. She's the author of this book. And she will talk about how she will, when she's working with a client, she will often have to make 3 to 10 muslins in order to get the perfect fit for her client. I'm hoping I don't need to go through 10 muslins, but I am going to go ahead and go through the steps and really read this and try to assess what's wrong with my fit and work with the knowledge and with the information that's in here to get a better fit on these pants. And I can already see a difference, and I'll show you the pictures. But be aware, the pictures are not pretty. Okay, you might see my undies, you might see a little bit of my tummy, you're going to see something that's way too tight and attractive. Just, prepare yourself. So I went ahead and made up my muslin with my lines on it, and I tried it on. And first I will address, let's try the front of the pants. Now, if you look at the side here, you can see that the horizontal balance line in the front really dips down low. The front view, you can't really tell very well, and I'm sorry that the lighting's not good on these pictures, but they are the pictures that I took. And what I find really helpful, and what totally just blew my mind about this, is I've made a couple of 101 trousers from Merchant Mills, and I've made, I think, Hudson joggers, and I think I tried a couple of Arden pants. And all the time, I always had this extra fabric in front. And I knew that I had to shorten the rise, and I would shorten the rise as much as I could. But then it got to a point where, even though I would shorten it so that the crotch line was where it needed to be, I still had this extra fabric. Well, what I'm learning in here is getting rid of that. So if you look at the front, what I did is I went ahead, first of all, they have you unpick the crotch seam 2 inches before and 2 inches in the back and 2 inches in the front. And then they have you unpick the inside leg seam about 7 inches down. So there's not a lot of, I guess it's not really constricted in the crotch area, which allows you to go ahead and pinch out and make some adjustments. So on the front, I went ahead and pinched out so that the horizontal balance line is pretty much horizontal to the floor. And I have to say, because I unpicked the crotch line, it allowed me to pinch it up so that the hip line is actually where the hip line is supposed to be. And I found this really interesting because at first I thought, but wait a minute, if I'm pulling it up so much that the crotch line is getting a little uncomfortable there, wouldn't I not have to pinch it up or change the rise quite so much? Excuse me, the fan is blowing my pattern piece. But it actually makes sense because the hip line is supposed to be where the hips are. It's not supposed to go down, even though the crotch fits you right between the legs. If the hip line is too low, what that means is, so I pinched it up and I got the horizontal balance line right. What I need to do is lengthen the front crotch curve or the front crotch to accommodate raising the hip line and then getting the curve in the front. I hope that makes sense to you. Okay. Then I'll go ahead and show you what I did in the back. Now the back, I can see there's a lot going on there, and pretty much I'm probably starting with the wrong size because I can tell that the back is really tight. And I'll show you a couple of things. But first I want to go back to after I had the front. Because after I had raised that horizontal balance line in the front and made some adjustments, I went ahead and tried on my toile, and I have to say the front is the best looking pair of pants I have ever made. Even though it's a toile and it's made out of muslin, it completely got rid of that extra fabric that was kind of just hanging around the front crotch area. This really blew my mind. I'm just so excited about this. So let's go back to the back. So then in the back, first thing you can see is that the horizontal balance line dips down at the center. And this happens actually in the book itself, the client that she is working with. You will see this. You can see how the horizontal balance line there goes down into the center. And so I went ahead and pinched out as much as I could, and it was a little bit hard to pinch out enough to raise the line because, again, there's not a lot of room back there. Interesting enough, because I have a flat bottom, I always thought that I didn't need as much room in the back of my pants as I do. But I actually do, because yes, I might have a flat bottom, but it's very wide. It's much bigger than my mind had always thought. And because it's so wide, it takes up a lot of room, even though it's flat. It's not, you know, a really nice rounded buttock back there. So anyhow, I pinched up about as much as I could, and I was able to raise the horizontal balance line a bit. Now you're probably going, it looks the same, Carol. It's still dipping down in the center. And it is, but the sides are sort of more raised as it's coming out from the side seams. That's a little bit more level, but it's still dipping down. Now, if you look at my waist, you can see that the back of the fabric does not even meet the elastic. Okay, I put a piece of elastic around, and that is where my waist should be. And that is where this waistline that I drew from the pattern onto my muslin should be. In the front, it's fine, but in the back, you can see that it dips down. Now, I always thought that I needed to add more fabric. And in fact, when I made my Hudson joggers, I actually added I think 2 inches to the back, and then I graded it out to 0 on the side seams because I thought that was the adjustment that my pants needed. I didn't realize that my hip line, you know, where the hips should be on my Hudson joggers, was too low. And so that little dip in the center and the fact that the back is not where the waist should be tells me that I need to again lengthen the crotch line or the crotch curve in the back, so that as I lengthen the crotch curve, it will allow that little dip to come parallel to the floor, and then will allow the back fabric then to come up to my waist. I just found that oh my goodness. And it makes so much sense because rather than adding fabric to the back, you need your hip, where the hips are supposed to be on your pattern or on your garment should be where your hips are. It's sort of like if you have, let's say, a teenager wanting to wear his dad's suit. Well, he might pull the pants up so that it fits him in the crotch, but the waist is probably going to be right under his chest because he's so much smaller than his dad, you know, and of course he's going to have to cinch it. Well, the waist belongs where the waist is supposed to be. The hips belong where the hips is going to be. And the fact that the reason that my pants dip down is not that I need an adjustment to add more fabric. I mean, I do need an adjustment, but the adjustment isn't to add more fabric to the center back. It's actually to increase the back crotch curve line so that there is more fabric to come up, which again, lifts up the horizontal balance line and then puts the waist where it should be. So I'm finding this all very interesting. It makes a lot of sense to me. And I haven't made a lot of progress on my trousers or my muslin because I am taking my time to really learn and assess the fit. I mean, this was my second muslin. And goodness, I don't want to have to make 10, but if that's what it takes, that's what it takes. And I'm hoping that you will find some of this information really interesting too, because what I want to plan on doing is, as I'm going through this fitting process, is next week I will actually video the adjustments that I'm making, how I'm transferring them to the pattern and making the adjustments to the pattern, and how I'm going through the whole process, not just on these pants, but on every garment in this 8-piece module that I plan on making, so that, again, we're all just trying to do the best we can. And I appreciate seeing other people's videos when they're offering some information that I maybe wasn't aware of. And that's what I'm hoping you're finding beneficial too. And if you are finding it beneficial, or if it's something that you think you would enjoy watching, please go ahead and hit the like and subscribe, because it really does help the channel reach more people. So after spending a week and a half working on this muslin and trying to learn and making this very incremental adjustments that I'm making, I decided that I need to do something that's going to be a little bit more rewarding. You know, I need kind of that instant gratification. So this week, what I plan on making, I showed you this part of my module, is McCall's 8240. It is a sweater, and again, I will link the pattern in the description. And what I plan on making this out of, now these are all wearable muslins. What this process is I'm going to go ahead and get the fit right on all of these eight pieces, And then when I have the fit right, I want to go ahead and go out and buy fabric so that they all coordinate and that it's kind of a cohesive little capsule, but it's really kind of a module, which is part of it. But I do want to use up what's in my stash. And so what I plan on making this wearable muslin out of is this sweater knit that I've had in my stash for, maybe a year or so. I think I got this from Style Maker Fabrics, and I think I call it like a heathered rose, or a marble rose, or a heather rose sweater knit. And yeah, that's what I'll be making this week, because I know I've made this before. In fact, I made it completely out of the wrong fabric. I found it in my drawer. I made it before out of this waffle knit. And this waffle knit is very, very stretchy, and it sort of grows as you wear it. So, and it really does have, though, this cute little binding on the bottom and the sleeves. But like I said before, I made this in a size, I think actually in XL, when I probably should have used a size large, because the shoulders are falling off of me. It's a little bit too short. The sleeves are too short. They sort of, come up here to here instead of down here at the wrist. So I'm hoping I can go ahead and just lengthen the torso, lengthen the arms. I might have to do a bust adjustment on the a knit bust adjustment to accommodate my larger chest. But all in all, I think this will be a very easy and rewarding make, and hopefully I can show you the final project. Hopefully I can show you the final product on next Tuesday. Now, on my Friday Sews video, I had mentioned that I'd gotten a nice compliment on the cashmere Pembroke dress that I was wearing that day. And because I got a compliment and because I'd been thinking about that dress anyways, I wanted to make another one. So I've ordered some fabric from knitfabrics.com, which arrived, and I go ahead and show it to you. One, I was hoping for something kind of in a red tone, and I have to say I'm not super pleased with this color. It's a little bit kind of too candy apple red, I think. I was hoping for something, I don't know, a little bit more, I guess the word is understated, but we'll see how it makes up. And because I like the dress and it is so fun to make and it's easy to wear, easy to make, I will be hosting a live sew along for the cashmere Pembroke dress on Sunday, September 22nd, 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. So if you'd like to join in, just get your pattern, get your fabric, and we'll just go ahead and start from the beginning to the end. Saturday the 22nd. And if you have any questions or if you are interested, you can go ahead and send an email to the pollysews22@gmail.com, and I'll give you more information on the live sew along that I plan on hosting. Another fabric that I got, and I think I kind of like it better than this red one, although I don't know how fall and wintry it is. This is actually a rib knit. It's a same thing. I got it from Style Maker Fabrics, and from knitfabrics.com, and it sort of has sort of a rust and a sage and a peach color in it, and very, 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 very small ribs. I don't know if you can see the texture in it. I'm not exactly sure what I plan on making with this, and to be honest with you, I really thought that I had deleted this from the cart, so I was really surprised when I opened up the package and realized that it was in here. So I'm going to have to think about what I want to make with this. Anywho, that is what's going on with my 8-piece. That is what is going on with my 8-piece module. I appreciate you guys taking the time to spend it with me. And again, I hope you hit the like and subscribe on your way out. Thanks so much, guys. Bye.